I'm about to tell you something that might destroy your trading dreams, but it might also save you from destroying your life. Some people should never day trade, ever. Not because they're not smart enough, not because they don't have enough money, not because they haven't read enough books, but because their brain is literally wired wrong for this game. Now, before you click away thinking, he doesn't know me, I'm different, I can do anything I set my mind to, let me ask you this. Would you tell someone with severe vertigo to become a skyscraper window washer? Would you encourage someone with chronic insomnia to become an air traffic controller? Would you push someone who faints at the sight of blood to become a surgeon? Of course not, because we understand that certain jobs require certain psychological traits. And if you don't have those traits, no amount of motivation, training, or positive thinking will overcome that fundamental mismatch. But somehow, when it comes to day trading, we pretend psychology doesn't matter. We pretend anyone can do it. We pretend that wanting it bad enough is all that counts. And that lie has destroyed more lives than I can count. So today I'm going to give you the most honest assessment of your trading potential you'll ever hear. I'm going to show you the 4 psychological types that should never day trade. And I'm going to give you a brutally honest self-assessment to figure out if you're one of them. Because sometimes the most loving thing you can do is tell someone the truth, even when it hurts. Psychological type number 1, the chronic optimist. Now, I'm not talking about healthy optimism. I'm talking about people who literally cannot process negative information. Their brain has what psychologists call unrealistic optimism bias. Here's how you spot this. They always focus on the best case scenario. They dismiss warnings as negativity. They believe bad things happen to other people, not them. They think that they're special, different, exempt from the rules. In regular life, this might make them pleasant to be around. In trading, it's a death sentence, because trading is fundamentally a risk management game. And if your brain cannot process risk, if you literally cannot imagine yourself losing, if you dismiss every warning sign as fear-based thinking, you will lose everything. Not maybe, not probably, you will lose everything. I know a guy, sweet person, heart of gold, who lost his house day trading. 3 separate people warned him he was over-leveraged, his wife begging him to stop, his account was down 60%. And he kept trading because he just knew it would turn around, because he was thinking positive, because winners never quit. The chronic optimist cannot learn from losses because they don't believe losses are real data. They think losses are just temporary setbacks on their way to inevitable success. If you cannot genuinely imagine yourself failing, if the phrase, "what if I'm wrong," makes you uncomfortable, if you find yourself dismissing risk management as negative thinking, do not day trade. Your optimism will kill you. Psychological type number 2, the chronic pessimist. Now wait, didn't I just say optimism was bad? Here's the thing about trading. Both extremes will destroy you. The chronic pessimist cannot take action when action is needed. They suffer from what's called analysis paralysis. Their brain is so focused on what could go wrong that they never do what could go right. Here's how you spot this type. They research forever but never pull the trigger. They see problems with every step. They wait for perfect conditions that never come. They paper trade for years because they're not ready yet. Look, healthy skepticism is essential for trading, but there's a difference between careful risk assessment and psychological paralysis. If you find yourself saying things like, "I need to study before I risk real money," "The market is too dangerous right now," "I'll start trading when I'm 90% sure of my strategy," "What if I lose everything?" And if you've been saying these things for more than 6 months, you're not being cautious. You're being avoidant. The chronic pessimist will spend 10 years preparing to trade and never actually trade. I know someone who's been getting ready to trade for 8 years. 8 years. He has 17 trading books. He's taken 12 courses. He's backtested 47 strategies. And his live trading account balance? 0. Because he's not ready yet. If you cannot tolerate uncertainty, if you need guarantees before you act, if what if questions paralyze you instead of preparing you, do not day trade. Your fear will keep you broke forever. Psychological type number 3. The adrenaline junkie. This one's tricky because these people often look like successful traders at first. They love the rush, they thrive on volatility, they get excited by big moves and high stakes, and that energy can actually help them in the beginning. But here's the problem. They're not trading for profit. They're trading for dopamine. The adrenaline junkie needs bigger and bigger hits to get the same high. It's like any other addiction. First, they need $100 at risk to feel excited, then $500, then $2,000, then $10,000, until they're risking amounts that can destroy them financially. Not because the setup called for it, but because they needed the rush. Here's how you spot this type. They get bored during slow market days. They increase position size when they're winning. They take unnecessary risks just to feel alive. They talk about their biggest wins more than their strategy. They feel depressed when they're not actively trading. Look, I get it. Trading can be exciting. The wins feel amazing. The adrenaline is real. But the moment you start trading for the feeling instead of trading for the profit, you're not a trader anymore. You're a gambler. And the house always wins. If you find yourself taking bigger risks when you should be taking smaller ones, if you get restless during quiet market periods, if you've ever thought this is boring, I need more action, if you trade larger when you're up because you're using house money, do not day trade. Your need for excitement will override your need for profit every single time. Psychological type number 4. The external validator. This might be the most dangerous type of all, because these people don't actually want to make money trading. They want to be seen as successful traders. There's a huge difference. The external validator makes decisions based on how they'll look to others, not on what the market is telling them. Here's how you spot this type. They share every win on social media. They hide their losses or make excuses for them. They care more about being right than being profitable. They argue with the market instead of adapting to it. They need constant approval from other traders. But here's the killer. They hold losing trades too long because admitting the loss feels like admitting failure. And they close winning trades too early because they need the validation of being right. I watched someone turn a $500 winner into a $3,000 loser because they couldn't bear to post a loss in their trading chat. They held that trade for 6 hours, watching it move against them, adding to the position, because they had already told everyone it was going to the moon. The external validator cannot separate their ego from their P&L. And in trading, your ego is your biggest enemy. If you've ever held a losing trade because you didn't want to be wrong, if you've ever posted your wins but hidden your losses, if you care what other traders think about your performance, if you feel personally attacked when someone criticizes your trade idea, if you've ever said the market is wrong instead of I was wrong, do not day trade. Your need for approval will cost you everything you have. Okay, so here's your brutal self-assessment. I want you to be completely honest. No one else will see this. This is just between you and your future financial security. Question 1. In the last month, how many times have you dismissed valid criticism or warnings as negativity? If the answer is more than 0, you might be a chronic optimist. Question 2. How long have you been preparing to trade with real money? If the answer is more than 6 months, You might be a chronic pessimist. Question 3. Do you get bored or restless when the markets are quiet? Do you ever increase your position size just to make it more interesting? If yes to either, you might be an adrenaline junkie. Question 4. In your last 10 trades, how many losses did you share publicly versus wins? Do you care what other traders think about your performance? If you share wins but hide losses, you might be an external validator. Now here's the hard part. If you've identified with any of these types, if any of these descriptions make you uncomfortable because they hit too close to home, you have two choices. Choice 1. Fix the psychological issue first. Get therapy, do the inner work, change the fundamental way your brain processes information. Then maybe consider trading. Choice 2. Find a different way to build wealth. Real estate, index funds, starting a business, building a skill, crypto. There are dozens of ways to become financially successful that don't require the specific psychological traits needed for day trading. And there's no shame in that. None. Remember what I said at the beginning? Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is tell someone the truth, even when it hurts. The truth is, not everyone is cut out for day trading. Just like not everyone is cut out for brain surgery, or professional athletics, or rocket science. And pretending otherwise doesn't help anyone. It just creates more casualties. But here's what I want you to understand. Your worth as a human being is not determined by whether you can day trade successfully. Your intelligence, your value, your potential for success in life has nothing to do with whether you can handle the psychological pressure of watching P&L tick up and down all day. If you discover today that you're not psychologically suited for day trading, that's not a failure. That's self-awareness. And self-awareness is the first step toward finding what you are suited for, which might just make you a lot more money and a lot happier than day trading ever could. The uncomfortable truth is sometimes the most liberating truth of all. Use it wisely.